Right, final component to the texture armor trims series, like mini series. As you can see, I'm wearing white, right? So I'm trying to map out what the textures look like for the trim. So there's two files you can edit, a generic trim and then a leggings trim. So the legging trim right now is what I've been playing around with, and as you can see, it controls both my legs and chest plate. So you can actually have a sort of undergarment, if you will, like a vest or whatever underneath the armor, depending on the trim that you utilize. So it'll go your armor, then the leggings trim, then the basic trim. And the actual map on the document, so if I open my editor, right, so we've got our trim leggings, and then we have our normal trim. As you can see, I've been mapping it out using the diamond armor. Okay, so you've got your helmet, here, nice black X's, so we know where each starts. Not X's, sorry, arrows almost. Then we've got our legs, chest, and arms. Now, on the legging side, I've made the whole document white just to see if it does influence everywhere. Doesn't. Okay, so there's no white wrap around my arms, which would normally be here, or my helmet, which would be here. So the only things you can influence are the leggings, which is this initial slot, so corresponds to the same on this one, and then the chest slot, which is still pretty cool, because it means you can extend the designs further than just a belt, because that's usually what it is if I get rid of the white and turn back on the normal trim. So this, I believe, is silence. So usually this goes over the legs, just as like a skirt, if you will, and then this goes on the bottom half of the chest, like a belt. But you can extend it further, meaning you can come up with some pretty cool designs. The other thing is it uses minus, right, when it comes to art. There is a setting. Again, I don't dabble in digital art or computer science, so the correct terms elude me, but I know there is subtraction or some way to calculate color. So the darker it is on the blueprints, the more it translates to the color palette selected. So for instance, our color palette, it was light blue, but because we're using black, it is dark blue. And then if it's white, it doesn't absorb any color whatsoever. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is you want to start with black and then work your way backwards when you are coming up with designs or patterns. Yeah, so I'm mapping them out, and I want to just create overlays, right, so you know where everything is. So I have to figure out where the top half of the armor is. So I know that this is the top of the legs, top of the chest, but the actual shoulder pads would be nice. I would assume it is, what, 1, 2, 3... Is that in the right spot? That is not in the right spot. Should be on this side. Why are these not extended up? Should be extended up. Okay, so from here, 1, 2, 3. I think this should be the top of the body, right? Actually, it doesn't go that far. Because it's centered. So, there, probably. I just want to see, because it would be nice if you could add shoulder pads or something like that with this. So if we overwrite and then reload the texture, F3T. We look up, perfect. So there is a line, oh, it's reversed. That's another thing to note, right? So you can see by my head on the left-hand side here, there's a blue line. There's not one on the right, which is interesting. We did do a box, no? Yeah. Okay, so it's not centered. That's kind of annoying. We'll do this, we'll color it all in. Override it. Reload the texture. And the whole top should now be blue. Which it is. Okay, perfect. Interesting. How's the back looking? Still got our line and then the top. Okay. So, I don't know what I'm missing. You can also axe these lines, because I don't usually include the top. I just like to know where the top is. Get rid of that one. And, I don't know, we'll do like some sort of pattern. Just to get some better idea. Override. Refresh. Ooh. Ah, okay, so it's missing a dot there. It's not. I am too large, it seems, then. Right? Because the pattern is one block displaced. So it looks like it goes... Yeah. Means that this, overall, I might have messed up on the sizing. It's not good, because obviously I want it to be exact. Where's the armor? Okay. Ooh. This is the start of the chest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's fine. 1, 2, 3. I guess this is too large? Then that doesn't make sense. 1, 2, 3, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the body shape, is it not? Interesting. We'll export as is with white. Again, don't need that one. No, don't. How am I doing this? Get rid of that, get rid of that. Override. Reload. You should get rid of the white and just allow me to see the blue, which should be a bit easier to discern. And, okay, so that's the perfect size. Yes, then I have messed up on the body. Or the body is slightly bigger than the shoulder by 1 block. Right, because it does extend over your legs by a little bit around each side. But it makes sense that it's 1 block larger, but then the neck is a bit weird. Interesting. Interesting. But it looks like I've mapped it all out. So we've got our 2 feet down the bottom, which they're just reflected or inversed. And then body, back, side, and chest. If I could remove my arms from the model, it'd be nice. It looks like, yeah, they're correct. Arrow going to the bottom left hand. I assume the other side is fine. On the back, bottom going to the left hand. No dot over. We'll just add in a line here. So I can see whether or not that's the side of the chest. F3T. Plus then I do also have to figure out which side is back and front and yada yada yada. Okay, so that adds in dots to the side. Perfect. So I guess the chest is slightly bigger. Which is fine. It's a little confusing, but fine nonetheless. So your neck is what? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 8. Is 8 blocks. 8 blocks. No, I'm a fool. Duh, this is the start of the side. So that doesn't need a dot there. That's the top. Okay. We got there in the end, everything is mapped out. Now I will just change the colors, I suppose. Use gradients of grey or something like that so we can see all the areas properly and then we can figure out front and back. Alright, okay, that's now annoying. So as you can see, it hasn't translated the colors. I'll show you. Excuse me. Hasn't translated the colors. So I've mapped it out just using -5 on the opacity, right? So to add white into the blacks. And if you can't figure out what it's doing, it has a range of colors that it's picking from, right? According to the color palette. So I'm sure anyone who has done digital art is probably facepalming, and I should have probably guessed or picked this up. If we go to the texture pack, right, and we go through resource, assets, textures, trims, color palettes, this trim palette is the colors that we need to use, right? So these are the colors that it's going to replace in accordance to where they match on the color scale, okay? So for instance, black corresponds to the blue. I should probably zoom in so you can see. An easier way to do this than just plus, 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 plus. Right, so the first one, black, is getting replaced by, and now let me select, blue. And coincidentally, the other colors we want to use are in accordance to the color palette. So what I'm going to do is just, obviously, paste this in, and then use this as the blueprint. So we'll go ahead and we'll just chuck it in the top corner, away from everything else. And at least we know now, so I can make a note for anyone trying to do this, to make sure to use the color palette when designing your trims. So if I were to replace the colors now using the exact colors from the trims, we should hopefully see proper color translation. Right, there we go, swapped over. We'll export it again, export to trim, and hopefully, if we reload now, 3T, should translate the colors properly. Yeah, perfect. They all are blue, although not quite different shades, right? I guess there's a slight difference. The lighting from the game is sort of throwing it off. Probably pick colors with greater variation. There we go, that's a little bit better. The color variation isn't fantastic, but it's still differentiated between different colors. So yeah, so in editing, you have to make use of the color palette that's inbuilt. It's not that great for differentiating, and it also means I can't just staple on. Well, I can actually give just random colors for people to know where to edit, and then just leave the color palette. Yeah, I think that's a better idea. There we go, that's a bit better. Now you can discern all the different sides by their color. and in the GIMP, which is what I use to edit art, that's what it looks like. Right, we've got our color palette that you'll use to actually create your designs, your patterns, and then these are the areas that you can edit. So feet, or legs, and then chest. Right, so this is one of the trims. I will map out this one, and then I guess we'll just wrap up. Right, so altogether this is what we look like. So purple is the bottom, pink is the top, and then blue front, red side. Legs are inverse, so the red is on that side too. And then back is yellow. We equip the normal segments, right? So now we're fully yellow colored, blah, blah, with all our sides, come as well, and our feet. We are now the color man, right? This should make it much easier to edit. Since everything is mapped out, I can easily depict which side is which, so I know where to put different things. Should be good. But anyway, like usual, well, actually, I'm pretty sure at this point I've recorded everything before I've actually uploaded anything. So everything will be on Planet Minecraft in its entirety. To make it nice and simple for anyone who does want to customize the trims like this. And who knows, I might do a little tutorial after I make my first little trim. So yeah,